Did I? What is with Shane McMahon? Did they Shane McMahon had a talent contract, and he got fired. So, they released him from his talent contract.
They kind of said like, "See ya, we don't want your ideas," right?
I don't know that. Is that what happened?
I'm pretty sure there were rumors that like
that he was clashing.
Well, he was clashing with somebody that like I guess he was running around like Big Shot apparently.
Are you sure about it? Like you can't trust Raymond. If Raymond gave you information, you cannot trust Raymond's information because Raymond gives you partial information, and then Raymond puts some stuff on here. It's got me heat. Let me tell you about the heat I've gotten because he doesn't think I read these YouTube things. So he titles something "The Decline of AEW." You know how many people are heating on me? Oh, you decline. What's the matter with you? You've been around 3 years. How can I be declined? How can you? I don't think they even listened to the podcast because he clickbaited something and titled it. And these people probably didn't even listen to the subject. And then they got something to say.
That's how you get the views, though. That's how you get. That's how you get the views. He's a worker.
Yeah. Well, I can tell you, I never click on things because I go, "This is bullshit." Because I've done it a couple times.
Well, you can like
vacation photos gone awry, and they have a hot chick on there. I got to go through 80 cover photos, and I never see this girl that they had the first picture on. I'm like, fuck this. I'm not watching it no more. So I don't clickbait no more. So I won't watch it now. They said the decline. Now I'm not gonna listen.
Well, you can like read through the lines, like.
All right. So what are we reading through the lines with Shane McMahon here? So,
that's why it's called the rumor. Everybody, there was a rumor that he was clashing ideas with somebody.
Okay. So, but how do you get released? How do you have a talent contract when you own part of the company?
I guess like he still owns part of the company, but he's not gonna work.
His talent. All right. He was a producer backstage, I guess. Yeah. And, so I don't know. According to Raymond, he was clashing with Jamie Noble. Different things, but
have you had any experiences with Shane McMahon like backstage or anything? Any relationship at all, or?
No, he would just come up and have talks with me. Like I would always hide my injuries, right? So I just started. There's a Gangrel thing coming out, the puffy shirt, a feud with Edge. And whatnot, and I think I did one of my first pay-per-views. It was in Ontario, Canada. It was against D'Lo Brown, and we did a whole match. And then I take a clothesline. Now I don't take clotheslines out over the top rope backwards anymore because of this situation here. So I took D'Lo clothesline me over the top rope towards the end of the match. When I went over, my arm somehow stuck in the two ropes, like, and then released. Right, so I went over. But my arm got hung in there, and I felt something in my shoulder. I felt my shoulder go out, but I felt a pop in my chest.
Like a tear?
Yes, exactly is what it was. So I feel that. I go out, so I can't lift my arm because my shoulder's out. So I finish that match and then do an angle with Mark Henry at the end where Mark Henry goes to do something. I think I spray the blood on him. And I get through all this. This is in Ontario, Canada. And I drive, I get to the back. And they had this French dude named Francois there. And he goes, "Oh, baby, it's your shoulder." And he says, "Take a breath." And pow, Mark Henry was there. And I swear to you, and this Mark Henry, turned a ghostly white when it popped. Because it just sounded like 2x4 breaking when he popped my shoulder. And he goes, "You're good now, baby. You don't go on." I go, "No." I said, "It's my chest. I feel like a band. I feel like a knot up over here." And he goes, "It's just the swelling from the shoulder. It's the swelling. You'll be fine." And I said, "Okay."
Insane.
He says, "I'm gonna be fine. I'm fine, but it ain't my shoulder that's hurting. It's in my chest over here. It's hurting." So in my chest, my pec. So couple hour drive into Detroit, and I was riding with Luna at the time. I said, "I can't lift this arm." I said, "It's not my shoulder. It's in my chest, but it hurts." So I get out of the hotel and I get my shirt off, and I'm black to my wrist and down my side because I tore my pec. So there's blood drained. So it was a pec tear. And so I just started. So back then, about like spots and stuff like that, you kind of hid injuries. So I had this white shirt. So I go, I'm not telling anybody. Yeah. So I saw a doctor at the building when I got to Detroit, and he wrote me a prescription for Vicodin, which I had never taken pain pills before. So this is like 98. So I take these things, and I'm like, woo, woo, Superman, yeah. So I go out there, and I just suck it up. I wrestled Val Venus, I think, that night or something. I just did a live TV with Val Venus, and I just changed up. I started punching left and doing other things left, and switched up my style a little bit and kept working. So I worked right through that whole pec thing. And then so I worked through that. Didn't tell nobody, but they knew. And then later I was I bruised a lung. I was coughing up blood, and then I had a bruised lung. So
how do you bruise a lung?
I don't know, but it's legit. You know, if you listen to some of the commentary back, they were like, Gangrel just had a bruised lung last week. Like, but it was true. And I was spewing up blood. And I remember Shane came to me and he goes, Dave, he goes, bro, this ain't the old school anymore. You gotta tell people when you're hurt. I'm like, yeah, bullshit. Like, I'm thinking in my head, bullshit. Oh, it's the old school. We all know that you tore that pec, and now you work on these bruised lungs. You're beat up, and Cactus Jack we'd be at a training room, and Cactus would walk in. He goes, David, you're the most injured pro wrestler I know. But I would never take time off. It was just because one injury would lead to another injury because you're protecting injuries, you're protecting stuff. So you keep changing the style. So like I was beating my body up, but I never told anybody. I didn't cry about it. It was my body, my choice, And Shane was just like, hey, man, you got to be like, tell people you're hurt, this and this and that. So, I listened to him, and he seemed sincere about it, and I believed he was. And, he's cool. And then then I broke my neck, and I wrestled for a week on the road with a broken neck. Like, I wrestled for a week. I didn't tell. The only person I would say I was working Midian, Dennis Knight every day. Tex Lassinger, you know who he is, Midian? Yeah, Midian. So, I'd say, hey, man, give me a hip toss right out the beginning of the match. If I don't get up, pin me. He goes, why? I go, because there's something really wrong with my neck. It's really bad. He goes, man, I've seen you wrestle with torn pecs and diarrhea and pooping yourself and puking and this and that. And he says, I go, no, man. But I would finish those matches, and then eventually, like, I was sitting in my hotel room, and I think I've told this story on here before. I was traveling with Jericho that particular day. I usually travel Eddie Guerrero and Benoit, but they had split the teams up. So I had me on a loop with Jericho, and I called Eddie and I said, Eddie, my nose is bleeding. I can't swallow. He goes, what? Eddie's like, what drugs are you taking? I go, I'm not taking any drugs. I can't even swallow. I remember Eddie told me to sleep in my bed sitting up. So I slept in my bed sitting up. I woke up, there's blood all up, in front of me in the morning. And then I got to that TV, and you got to go to the doctor right away. So, I broke my neck. So I had a broken neck. Mm-hmm. Well, so there was I had to tell him that. I couldn't hide that. But what did they do the minute I was better? Let me go. So, like,
they let you go?
Yeah, yes. Once I was, they paid me with the broken neck was out, and then let me go. But they hired me back twice since that. But the point is like, there's no old school body. You get hurt, they let you go. There's so many other people. How many people are you thinking are trying to take your spot?
Oh.
How many wrestlers are out there that are waiting or trying to come up? Or how many are in NXT?
Hundreds.
How many that are being paid on the main roster that are not NXT? Just waiting. They're just out there waiting. There's more spots in an NFL. I believe people have a better chance of making an NFL football team because there's more spots. How many teams are there? Like 12? I don't know. 32 or something like that.
A lot of teams.
A lot of spots. A lot of teams. Wrestling, there's one company. And now there's two with so many spots. And then you can mess around in AAA and do TNA or whatever, basically. You can compare it to the majors and the minors. However you want to look at it. I mean, you're grateful to be at any spot you got on whatever level it is, whether it's TNA or Ring of Honor, which doesn't exist anymore after this month. MLW, which probably won't exist more unless they win their lawsuit with WWE and they buy them off. So I don't know, so you don't want to say that, you don't want to get hurt, so you feel like you got to push through it. But that was my generation. Now I don't know about this generation. They probably got like a hangnail in or out because their contracts are so different now. Oh, you canceled me because I was hurt. Yeah, we couldn't pull that shit off. We couldn't go, I was hurt and you fired me. They'd be like, yeah, who cares? Now you'd be like, oh, you discriminated against me. And I was hurt. You let me go, it's just like whatever.
It's the same. It's more or less the same, though, because there's still so many spots.
Yeah, but they won't. Oh, they'll keep paying you. Like you're going to get paid.
Now?
Yeah, because they're scared of you. This cancel generation and stuff like that.
Yeah,
they're scared. There's a whole new generation.
I get that,
it's kind of like I don't know, Terminators, the rise of the this whole craziness. I
haven't seen the Terminator.
All right, enough of that. You know what?